Welcome to Deep Thought, Getting Over Fears. I'm going to tell you what, I talked about living firsthand in my previous podcast and getting out there having different experiences. The reason why people don't have different experiences, don't get out there, because of fears. They're afraid to go out of their comfort zone. I'm going to tell you what, the easiest thing to do is once you get into a comfort zone to stay there. You get a regular job. You get a mate that you may or may not have like any real lust for or any real love for, but it's comfortable. A lot of people do stuff for comfortable. In fact, that's a whole other conversation. Many people mate just not out of insecurity, and they think that's the best they can do, and they don't want to take a chance. That's a comfort zone. So it affects you there. People don't take any chances. They might have some great ideas for entrepreneurship, and they don't take the chance. They don't try any new foods. They don't really travel, like really travel. Like when I say travel, because I'm the type, if I travel, I don't really want to deal with like tourist areas. I want to get into the places. I want to see, like I said in the last one, I want to go to those dangerous neighborhoods. People say, Rom, that's crazy. I was like, I want to see how people live because, one, I don't go on what I hear. And two, I probably wouldn't carry that much money with me anyway, just as a precaution. One thing growing up in a jacked up, spending my early life in a jacked up neighborhood, you learn how to make yourself less of a target. But I digress. But of course, this is the Deep Thought channel. Y'all know. This the tangent channel. I should just call it that. But anyway, you got to get over your fears. That's the thing. And that's the thing people got to face. And that fear thing, it affects so much. It's why people don't like someone of another race. Not from any personal experience, but it's their fear. And then they try to find ways to rationalize it. Or someone of a different class, someone of a different religion. A lot of violence in this world is just based on fear, the fear of the other. I mean, there's a X-Men Dark Phoenix movie coming out soon. And that whole X-Men thing, the whole mutant thing, that was just really an allegory towards what happens to different groups, different people who are different. That's why it's so popular. That is why it's so popular. Stan Lee used a character just to illustrate some other points. That's why people get into it so much, because everybody can relate to being different. It don't even have to be a race thing or a religious thing. It could be you like a different hobby. It could be you like a different hobby, or you just into some things everybody else isn't, and like people don't get it. I remember when I was in high school, I played high school soccer. Actually, had to deal with, it actually caused some disparaging comments from people. Because back then, when I was playing soccer, nobody was playing soccer. Like, it's normal now. It's like ubiquitous now in this country. Still has a ways to go, but when I was getting into it, nobody was really playing it. Especially in the hood. Yeah, ain't nothing now to say you play soccer. So, but even then, that was a fear. People in a comfort zone. And what I did at the time, I was just like, well, I love football, but I actually was arrogant enough to think I would play pro as a soccer player. I was that arrogant. I was that good until at least at a club level. Reached varsity soccer, that was something else. I had to fight for playing time, but another story. But just the fear of trying something new or being a pioneer, just going out there. And you know what, you don't have to go out there and invent something or create a business. Just get out your comfort zone. Try something new. You might enjoy it. People don't see that. I got a story behind that. I got a story because it just hit me now. I remember years ago, I had my books out. I had did seminars. and stuff. But well, it was two things. One, I didn't have zero interest in YouTube. I had zero interest. I was like, oh man, that's so good. They making all those videos and everything. I didn't think my comfort zone wasn't doing it. My comfort zone was being in front of people live and doing vending. I actually didn't think. I don't know if I could do that. Ironic, I could think of that, but I had a certain comfort zone, so I had to get out of that comfort zone, and look where I am now. And there's another thing, and I remember a woman said this to me, because this was when I was working a very modest job. The books were selling, but I wasn't pushing it. In fact, my mind was, let me just sell out what I have, because I wasn't feeling, it was a lot of stuff going on, so I wasn't feeling the whole relationship advice thing. I wasn't feeling it at all. And I remember this woman, she was offering me a job they had like a little independent school. And I was just like, man, I can't do that. I don't have that much patience. I can't be a teacher. And that's what I said too. That's what I said for people in the spiritual community. I actually had a reading, like if you're in the ATR community, I had some readings done that said, oh yeah, you'd be great at this. And I'm like, man, please. I'm like, whatever. Look what I'm doing now. I looked up, I said, ain't that some stuff? Look what I'm doing now. I was just like, man, you never know. So, I don't know if it was a fear. Well, you know what? It wasn't so much a fear, because I don't really have fears, but you still get into comfort zones. And it's kind of the same. It's the same effect. If you have a fear, you stay someplace, you get in a comfort zone, you could get lazy. I think I was just lazy at the time. It's like, don't, but here's the thing, voluntarily get out of it. Because sometimes, now in my case, it wasn't a fear, but like I said, a laziness. And it was a necessity that I had to expand. And it was probably one of the greatest necessities I ever needed. Like, I'll do something. But don't wait for it. Don't wait for the necessity. Don't do like I did and wait for the necessity. Just go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and get out of it. Just, look, get over it. Attack it. Just say, you know what? In fact, I'm going to tell you what. Now, this is something I have done. Anytime I've had a specific fear of doing something, I just face it head on. Like a fear of embarrassment or whatever. Like using the example of standing in front of people. Now, like I said, I wasn't sure about the YouTube part. One, I didn't really check into it, but I hadn't had a fear of being in front of people since high school. Now, it's funny. I was supposed to be in this little skit in like the 7th grade, and I left the dude hanging. I played sick that day. I'm amazed the dude was still friendly to me, because I was just like, I really was like nervous to talk. Now, I just said I ain't really have fear, so, but you got stage fright, and you're like, damn, they might laugh at me and all that. So I guess that was some fear. But it's funny how I got over it in high school. I went to an all-male high school. It was a funny story. It was, I was cool with the director of a school play. Because I had taken some classes. Well, he still Joan on me to this day on Facebook. he still Joan on me. But he was a really good guy. But I remember they were practicing. They would, they were having some rehearsals and all of this for something. And here's the whole thing. Like at the time, he wasn't closing it. It was like early in the process, so he wasn't closing it. And there was some stuff. And I remember I'm sitting there, I'm just chilling. And why didn't I I didn't think I could go out for the play, because I was on a wrestling team at the time, or I was trying to be on a wrestling team. And I was, what happened, I'm sitting there and they doing some stuff, and the teacher, teacher/director turned to me and said, hey, why don't you come up here and do this? He just turned to me. And I said, oh yeah, sure. Just like that, all of a sudden it was like, wow. I was kind of like one of the stars of the show. It was like a bunch of skits just like they were doing Saturday Night Live. And I was like, wow. And it wasn't even so much a fear, but it was just so much a prompting. But just getting over it. And I look back at that and I was just like, wow. And like ever since then, you could plant me in front of a bunch of people, no prep, and I'll be like, yeah. But you gotta get over it. You gotta get over it. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I did have stage fright. Yeah, I did have some fear. But that was 7th grade. Ironically, I would have been great at it. But anyway, that's the only way you really know stuff. You just gotta go for it. Get over it. So anyway, that's all I got for today. I'll talk to you later. Peace and blessings.